Hi, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm George, one of the co-founders of Gendo, and my background is in architecture. So I spent a long time training and working in a variety of studios in London, doing design projects that were predominantly residential. But I drifted more into visualization, so making animations and still images for architecture studios to help them communicate their design. So I've been on every side of the problem of design communication in trying to get my projects across to stakeholders and helping other architects to communicate theirs. But all of that was before I met my co-founder, Will, who's a computer scientist by training, and has worked in a variety of studios and industries from startups to very large enterprises, but always product building and quite a creative guy at that, and set up a generative art platform before it sort of blew up into what we now see around us in the AI landscape. But today is the first of our sort of Gendo live sessions, so please do send in messages in the chat. Happy to answer questions as and when we go. But what we're here mostly to talk about is one of our new features, the Custom Cutout feature, which is a way to produce individual assets pre-masked to be added into images. Obviously, people want to see what the spaces are going to be used for, who's occupying them, where in the world it is, and what the activity is. So adding people to scenes is an essential part of that design communication point. So, traditionally the way you'd handle this is by having databases of pre-cut out images, which you can then drag and drop into your scene, hoping that they fit your requirements, fit the scene in the right pose to fit in the architecture around them. And you'd often spend far too many hours Googling these things and trying to cut them out of images when you couldn't find them. So with the advent of generative AI and our new feature, it's now possible to, rather than dredge the databases, you can generate the assets as and when you need them to your specification, and then download them and add them into your image. This is something we've been working on for a while. I mean, Gendo is nearly 3 years old now, and one of the very first features we built was a cutout generator, much more primitive than it is now, but it's been a constant request, and we're pleased now to finally be able to add it into the platform among all of our other features. So what I'll do now is just share my screen here. Oof. There we go. Hopefully you can see all of this now. And I'm just going to show you how to use it all really, just in the platform. So I'm going to make a new project and call it Cutout. And you can see here we've got all of our usual tools, but there are now 2 new ones, Custom Cutout and Quick Populate. Today we're just going to focus on Custom Cutout. So I open this, we can see here is our mannequin on the canvas, and I'm just going to hit generate with all the default settings in the background while that's going. So on the canvas, you can right click to drag to reposition this and reframe it and zoom in and out with the wheel. And if you left click and hold, you can rotate our little mannequin here, which then means that you can get someone with the right position relative to the camera. So say you need someone walking away from you, you can get them rotated there. And then you can see up here our pose. So if we click on this, there's a bunch of lists of preset ones, a good variety, typical standing, sitting, running, and dancing there for some more abstract poses. But let's just see these quick set of output first. If we just hover, we can preview them and compare them to our input. I'm just going to click on this target to reset the model so we can make the comparison. Nice, great. So as we can see, cutout people masked already, and set to my default values, which are basically randomized. So we can now try and do something a little more specific, but as you saw, the generation was pretty speedy. So yeah, why don't we carry on with our example then? Let's say we want someone walking away from the camera. Let's say as well that this is a old people's home in Singapore. So let's say we want someone walking briskly. I'm going to rotate them so they're walking away from the camera. And then we can press play here just to see the animation on the mannequin. And the idea is that you can pause and then scrub through this to get the right pose. that you need for your image. So let's say we want this one. And what do I say? An old people's home in Singapore. So age group, we can see from 13 up to 61. I want 61 plus for our example. Ethnicity, we have some presets, but there is custom where you can type in a free text field. But I'm just going to stick with Asian there. Let's say I want an older lady, and let's say that I want them wearing a woolly coat. Nope. Let's go with green scrubs. Yes. And then hit generate. While that's generating, we can see here there's a little prompt box. So this description box is just for clothing, really. So in here we have a bunch of suggestions: evening gown, formal dress, casual jeans. So you don't need to say anything other than clothing, really. Here, I added nurse for a little bit of context. But you can be pretty light in this prompt field. Here we go, first of our responses back. There we go. That's fitting our brief quite nicely and matching our pose. Perfect. I'm just going to actually move this over here. I can see if there's any questions then. There we go. Nice. And if I click to add this to the canvas, you'll notice that there is now two more buttons here. This is to go between our 2D and 3D view on the canvas. And then here is export to download our asset. So if we go back to 3D, we can freeze this view so that we can't accidentally drag, or we can reset this to go back to the front, for example. So let's try another scenario. Let's say I want someone sitting on a wall inside a cafe. So let's say the cafe's in North America somewhere. So let's say we want sitting down. And then just going to rotate this here, get a slightly more front-on view. And I'm just going to scrub through this. Yeah, that's good. And then here, let's say it's a cafe, so let's get some hipsters involved. Caucasian, male, let's say glasses, beard, beanie hat, and shirt. And then hit generate. So what we'll do in a second is take a look at an image and try and get someone fit for that specific image. We'll just let this one generate. There we go. Nice. Oh, we've cropped his feet there on a couple of these. As you can see, this is still beta flagged, so they're early access testing, a couple of things to iron out, but this one's quite nice. Okay, why don't we take a look at our image now then. So I've got an image here generated in Gendo just using the describe tool, the describe concept. I've just described a kitchen and given an image reference, so nothing too exciting. But let's say I want a chef stood behind this counter. So we can go to Custom Cutout. So I need someone standing. So let's go standing looking behind. Let's say I want them facing out over the kitchen island. So I want them rotated a little more like this. And there we go. And let's say he's a bit older, he's a man, let's say that, and let's say black apron, white shirt, chef, and generate that. While that's generating, I'm just going to show you a quote from one of our design partners about the tool who's been testing it over the last few weeks. I'll just read it out off the screen as well for you. Cutouts is a great tool for instantly generating people for render scenes. The PNG downloads for transparent background makes it seamless in Photoshop, and the posable figure adds real variety and activity, perfect for quickly populating designs. The quality and detail are excellent. Thank you, Dan. Pleased to hear it's working for you. There we go. Here's our first ones, black apron, white shirt, matching our pose. Yeah, very nice. Oh, chef's hats. Definitely that one. So we give 4 because, as you've seen, they're not always perfect, but one of them should match your requirement and be preferable to you, as is in this case. So what I'm going to do is click on this guy, and I'm going to download him, and then I'm just going to open our Photoshop image and find my downloads. I'm just going to drag and drop him into my Photoshop scene, and quickly reposition him behind our kitchen island. So I'm just going to scale. Let's say his feet sort of line up with this. Yes, and I maybe want the counter to be waist high. So that looks good. Maybe a little taller. Will do. And then I'm just going to give him a mask and paint out his feet very quickly. And we'll just zoom in a little here. Do a better job of this. I'm just swapping between black and white on this mask to get it in right. There we go. Get his hand out. That'll do. Boom. There he is. Our chef behind our kitchen island in our generated image. Nice and quick. Perfect. Okay. Well, I'll just do one more that I personally enjoy. Let's go with jogging. Let's say he's doing the London Marathon, and he is, well, she is 26:35. Let's say she's wearing a hot dog mascot costume, running trainers, sweaty. And boop. And generate this for our last piece. So the pose is indicative of what you want. The camera angle is obviously taken into account, and there's a bunch in here, so it's worth playing around and seeing. I found the dancing one actually surprisingly useful. When I need a slightly more exaggerated pose, there are frames in there that are quite helpful. Maybe we can look at that while it's loading. So there it's a little extreme, but say you want someone carrying something, then you can find just the right pose here to be holding onto the counter or a pot or something. Not safe for work checkers doing the work there. That's good, obviously. There we go. Nice. It's a perfect hot dog marathon runner. Maybe not immediately useful for some architecture visualization, but helpful to know that it's very flexible, matches the prompt and interprets the pose well, so that it's consistent to our requirements. I'll stop there. Thank you again so much for listening. Really appreciate it. As I say, the first of a few lives, nice and quick, focuses on features, and we'll do some more soon on some of those other new and upcoming ones. But please do get in touch if you have any questions or feedback. We always appreciate hearing it. So you can email just support@gendo.ai or use the help center on the app as well to get in touch with us. Thank you.